as soon as the music started, the two of them are like, it was like,
we should.
yeah, go ahead.
Is Adrian still around? Adrian, you don't have to stay if you need to go. You can.
Oh yes, totally.
We're gonna quickly film an intro to the show, and then it's gonna be after dark, so really casual, really informal. So you can stick around for that if you'd like to have another chat with us, or you can go. It's free. And enjoy your Saturday if you like. But yeah.
I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm still here.
Okay.
Yes,
yeah,
we can hear you now. There was a weird, awkward moment there of
Dada,
maybe.
unmute him. Yeah, there we go. Cool.
Okay. No. I blocked out after the interview just for feedback on that because I don't get to do many interviews like this.
Cool.
Oh yeah, no, that was great.
Yeah,
I
cool.
hope
Thanks
you
so
had
much.
fun. I think we all had fun with that one.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a great time, and yeah, thank you so much for taking time out of your Saturday for that. So, yeah, it was cool.
Sure.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, should we do an
There were a
open?
few things I was hoping I would get to, like some sat guys chided me for not mentioning their price point, 20,000 per satellite of theirs, but I can follow up with them.
For sure. Well, and the other nice thing is that because all of these get archived anyway, once it's up on YouTube, and I'm sure Ben will shoot you an email once that's actually live and what have you, you can always feel free to sign in and comment on that as well. If anything you feel like you forgot or left out or anything along those lines. We actually really enjoy the interaction after the fact as well. It's all about making sure that it's as what's that long form evergreen content as possible, right? So there's always going to be some sort of update or something you forgot to mention or anything along those lines. Our chat room and our commenters are usually really good about continuing to be interactive after the fact. So I think you've garnered some fans here nonetheless.
Yeah, I know some of my friends were planning on watching the interview after it got posted sometime next week, so.
Perfect. And if they have any comments, we'll probably pull those into the next show anyhow, because even though we're going to be doing a roundtable discussion, we always like to have comments about the previous show on, as of course, you just saw. So that's always good. We can do that.
All right, an open.
All right, so yes, we have to do an open. Like Lisa said, Adrian, if you need to sign off, feel free. That's totally fine. Otherwise, if you don't mind, we do have a little bit of work we still need to do first.
I'm here for at least the next hour. I will wait for you to hang up the Skype call to signal that we're done. Or if it goes another hour, then I'll have to split. But
I don't think we'll try to take up too much more of your time.
I do have a flight to catch at some
Right,
point,
exactly.
I am flying out tonight, so and I need a pack. But yeah, we're good.
there's a couple of those things. So, Mr. Mike, what was your favorite thing?
Well, obviously the SpaceX story, but I'm trying to figure out how to word it.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
I'm just going to shout out, Space Plane!
SpaceX moves from Red Dragon to Gray Dragon? SpaceX sits down on Red Dragon? Yeah, that's true.
Hey, Space Mike?
Ben Credible, you need to say something to
Yes,
Space
I can
Mike.
hear
Space
your
Mike,
echo.
it sounds like you're in a box. Can you double check and make sure, like, if you tap on your microphone, are we using the correct microphone here, or are you maybe in a box?
Oh, is that why I couldn't hear him very well?
Could be.
Also, I think my batteries might be dying.
When he was tapping,
The
if you
news?
I don't have
No, I didn't hear
Negative.
anything.
So,
During the
Mike-
news section, he sounded great, and then ever since
Yeah.
we've done the comment section,
I don't have audio from that mic.
I think that's why, like, at one point I spoke over you, Mike, because, like...
Try resetting your mage ball.
I'm hearing
Hang
all of
on.
that though. Dream
My wrist is
chaser.
so sore from, like, holding this iPad.
See, okay, and Ben is like, no, this isn't a big deal. This is what we're gonna do.
It was cool, though. Like, it was real handy. I didn't have to
Sure.
balance it on my
Except
leg.
it gets heavy eventually.
Just got to practice.
Ugh.
So sore.
Dragon is getting its legs cut off.
Whole dragon, no
That's
fly.
hilarious.
Test.
Oh, that's
That
much
sounds
better.
better.
Yeah.
There you go. That's better.
Test.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go, Mike.
That's good.
And just
Mike's
waiting
mic
for
is
video to come
microphone.
back.
Hold it up the whole time. You can set it on your lap.
Yeah, but that
But
does.
so because I'm so short, my legs are slanted down, so like it'll just like
I mean, mine are too. I don't think that's a short thing. Well, I guess it is a short thing because otherwise you're off like this. Toothless
Just waiting
becomes
for
legless.
video to come back.
Under your legs so that.
What did you do, Mike?
so that my legs like are at 90 degrees.
Like this.
I set the Magewell adapter. Obviously, it looks like sound has come back. It's just waiting for the video to come back. Just loading, loading, loading.
I can recycle the call if you want.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
There he is.
There we go. There we go. All right.
Is it better?
You guys hear me okay?
The audio is
Sound
better.
okay?
The video is a little choppy, but yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
You're
Probably
pixelated. It's
Yeah, like,
adorable.
Look at his shoulder.
Does it look bad on camera though?
It's very Wreck-It Ralph right now.
Oh, it's fixed. It's fixed.
There it goes. Yeah,
Lovely.
just needed a second.
Wait, no audio from Lisa or Carrie Ann?
No,
What?
because Dada had to mute us
It was
because he was
really
talking to
weird,
Mike for a
too.
second.
Oh.
It's you have to give like everything like a minute to.
I started having problems halfway through the interview where I couldn't hear you guys on my end.
All right. Let's. I think it looks good enough. Let's do the opening.
All right.
Something was
Yeah, I
happening.
got a plane to catch.
Anyway.
All right, so have we come up with anything good
Dragon
for Mike to
loses
say?
its legs.
Dragon loses its legs. Sure.
I'm saying space plane.
You didn't have a new. You had an interview. I'm looking at you like, no, just kidding. You didn't have a
What
new
did you
thing.
do?
And I got
What did you do?
What are you doing
It's really
here?
more like, what did I do? Because I didn't do anything. Yeah.
I had an interview with Adrian Times of Cube Cab.
Well, you should close it out like Ben would close it out. Yeah. I mean, not like Ben would close it out, but I mean like.
Tomorrow begins right now.
For the love of all things. That's not what I meant, but
I can't do it the same, so I shouldn't.
I mean, you certainly can. I just nope right out of it completely. But that's just me. That's just me.
Should I
What
do
are
a
you-
chat
what are you
room?
saying?
Should I do it?
You know that we can't hear you, right? He can't hear us either, apparently, so awesome.
Awesome. Perfect.
Good gods.
What are we waiting for?
All right, so coming up, Dragon loses its legs,
All right, I'm
space
doing it.
planes, and then Lisa or Carrie Ann?
I think Lisa should. I think
What are you gonna say?
what I
Lisa
normally
says,
say
"I have
when
an
Ben takes
interview."
over things, yeah.
And then
I just,
say we all that and more. Tomorrow begins at this moment in time.
So what's the order?
usually Mike, Jared, I guess me, and then you,
Okay, cool.
right?
Cool.
Do it live. That's what we're trying to do.
All right, take number one. Coming up, Dragon loses its legs.
Space plane.
That is really exciting. I just got comments. Lisa?
And I've got an interview with Adrian Times of Cube Cab. Stay tuned. Tomorrow begins right now.
Let's do it one more time for good measure.
I didn't like it. Not enough bendness.
Number two.
No comment.
Coming up, Dragon loses its legs.
Space plane.
I've got news and comments.
And I've got an interview with Adrian Times of Cube Cab. Stay tuned. Tomorrow begins right now.
Right now.
There you go, guys. Ben was in the show.
Print it. That's a wrap.
Dada?
Yeah, I don't care. Ben's gonna edit. It's gonna be crap anyways. Whatever.
This is true. All right. Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
Benjamin James.
Higginbotham.
Space Vogel says keep it.
Well, yeah, I mean, something's getting... Yeah, okay, cool.
You have to like call my name and then wait 8 seconds.
I did.
Oh. Yes, Carrie Ann, Joy?
Well, so Adrian is still with us. Is there anything that you wanted to ask him?
No, I think we're good. Adrian, we'll cut and print. That was a good segment. I was happy there. Actually, there are no edits in this show other than
Yes,
the
there is.
intro.
There is?
The commercial,
Just
the
the
calendar commercial going into the calendar commercial. I forgot to add the delay, so it needs to be edited.
Ah.
I can't hear better.
Going into the calendar commercial, he forgot to add the delay, so that needs to be edited.
Okay. So other than that, it was a clean show. I think we're good.
Yeah?
We need to get you out of here, so we
Yeah.
should do a very rapid after dark and then GTFO.
Did you want to join us for After Dark?
I can.
I mean, you don't have to. I just sort of feel like...
So Adrian, I can't hear you. I know everyone's
Because I wasn't
screaming
singing,
so that
can you
my
hear me
mic will
now?
pick 'em up.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have an earpiece. That's not you. That's
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Your earpiece is just right over there, silly.
Just let me grab the thing.
Okay.
Yes, Factor, I have to pack because I was very disorganized and did not
No, that's gonna take.
pack anything.
Okay.
I don't have a lot of stuff. It's fine.
Were there any final comments from the chat room we didn't get to? I was juggling YouTube, Twitch, and.
I
the
got
main
that.
chat
I
room.
said that one. I said that one. We did that one. We did that one.
Adrian, if I could ask, are the
We pretty
rockets
much got to
that
them all.
you guys
Oh,
are
good one
planning
at
to
least.
use, are they multi-stage?
Yes. Like I said, technically the aircraft itself is the first stage, but beyond that, we're looking at 2 or 3 stage all solid. Oh, and I think I actually forgot to technically answer the question of launch altitude. So, aircraft aside, we are planning to launch at Mach 1.5 and 60,000 feet.
Nice. Awesome. That's really cool. I definitely hope that that you guys are able to be successful at that. I've seen a few different plans over the years of doing air launches like this, for dedicated CubeSats on an existing jet. And I don't know, I really like this idea. So hopefully this whole interview and this episode will help bring you guys some attention and help to hopefully get the funding that you guys need in order to move forward.
That's part of the reason why I gave this interview, yes.
Yeah, cool. I'll make sure to
That's
share
great.
it when it goes live.
Yeah.
So if I can ask you guys a question.
Yeah.
What's your opinion of the general small satellite launch development market? I've been seeing a number of competitors, but we try to be rather aware of who all else is working in the space. I mentioned the closest competitor, but I'm getting a general impression most of our competitors are either going for like 20 to 50 kilogram max payload or 100 to 300 max payload, and I'm wondering if you got the same impression.
Well, you've got Rocket Lab doing Electron, and they're like 100 to 250 kilogram payload mass, and then you've got Vector. I'm not sure what Vector's payload mass
I want to
is.
say 300,
Yeah, they have a lot.
but I could be wrong.
And they're the two main small sat developers that I know of that are kind of getting a lot of the attention. But you're right, I don't really know any that's kind of doing as small as you guys are doing.
That's the thing. There's a lot of companies that, there's those that have gotten a lot of attention, and there are a lot more that I feel are kind of in the same situation that you guys are in right now, where you're looking for funding. And I feel that a lot of the companies that exist, like one that comes to mind is a company called Interorbital Systems, although they'll be launching from the ground, but in the same type of payload range, that until they actually have something to I guess, announce, whether it be a piece of hardware or seeking funding or whatever it might be, that you don't really hear about them until there's that announcement. So I saw a list not long ago that was over 20 companies that are looking at this small sat market, for a dedicated small sat market. And then you even have government agencies who are looking at that as well. I mean, Japan is working on their own dedicated small sat launcher for a 3-unit CubeSat. So there's lots of different people working on this, and I guess the whole struggle right now is kind of wading through to see who makes progress and who will actually do stuff. So I guess I'm rooting for everyone.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think we all, we all do in general. Didn't we have another CubeSat interview earlier this year, even?
We had one with the little tiny thrusters for CubeSats.
Oh, okay.
That was, it starts with A. Not Axiom Space, but something
No.
that sounded like it.
I know it.
Orion Space?
No, I know what you're talking about.
Orsion?
Or maybe
Oh, chat room, help me out,
I
guys.
know the chat room was like, you don't even know your own show. Oh yeah, and CubeOS. Yeah, Cubos with CubeOS.
There's in the software for it. Axion.
Axiom.
Axiom.
Thank you.
A something.
Thank you, Kojan7.
Right? You guys are on top of it. Did the small propulsion.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Dariachi, Cogent 7. Yeah. So I mean, there's definitely some things that are going on out there. CubeSats, kind of like you were saying, are kind of all the rage in general.
So hot right now.
This is so hot right now.
And so many people have been promising to launch CubeSats for cheap,
Yes.
under $1 million, under 500,000, around 250,000, like what you guys are saying. And no one's been able to deliver yet. And I think that's kind of what everyone's waiting on, is waiting for someone to be able to deliver that.
And that's when the game's going to change, I think. Like, even in Australia, we have not a lot of space things going on, but we do have one company called Fleet Space, and they just secured a bunch of funding, and they're planning to launch, really a lot high number, I don't know how many, thousands maybe, of CubeSats to do, an Internet of Things constellation. Yeah, I don't know when they're launching, but CubeSats are definitely gaining, their market is expanding. So when we get launching them, things are going to change.
Another trend that I've noticed is every time something big happens in space, you'll start seeing a lot more investors and angel investors who normally aren't involved with the space industry at all. Yeah. I remember after SpaceX had their first cargo mission to the International Space Station, suddenly you started seeing a lot of investors at space conferences who had never been involved with the space industry before, hadn't invested in the industry before, but now they're seeing, oh, space is an actual thing, and this might be actually a good market. So once someone, I think it might even be Launcher One from Virgin Galactic. I know that probably is a weird example, but because they have so much public attention, once that launches, I have a feeling, this is just my own personal prediction, that we're going to start seeing that another wave of investors who aren't normally involved in the space industry investing in all these other companies, hopefully yours included, to have their own Launcher One, to have their own Virgin Galactic, and to kind of be a part of that thing, even if they don't fully understand it. Does that make sense?
I believe that you are correct, and in fact, one problem I didn't mention earlier was the VCs. Is a lot of VCs that we've been talking to, in addition to wanting to complete the software and hardware and all, also say they have their own launch vehicle investments. Ironically, Launcher One, Rocket Lab as well. We've been talking to some of those guys, and they're saying, oh, well, we've already invested in a launch company. We don't want to risk too much by investing in more than one company in the category, which is yes, but...
Yeah, that seems odd. I feel like if you're gonna, you're like, I really like Ford, so I'm going to invest in Ford, but I really like Tesla, but I don't know, they both make cars. That doesn't seem to make any sense to me. If you like both of those things, invest in both of those things, regardless of how similar or different they are.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah,
Put your money where your mouth is.
Isn't the point of investing to have the largest portfolio that you can, so that you have the higher chance of a return on investment?
But it's an unknown.
I don't know. Maybe I didn't
understand.
understand.
Market right now. Keep in mind that you're fine. Keep in mind that with all of the small sat launches that are in the market today, and the number of small sat payloads that need to go up over the next few years, there are too many launchers for payloads. So not all of the launchers will succeed. They simply cannot. There's not enough market share for everyone today. So we're in a bit of a chicken-egg scenario where part of the reason there's not enough payload is because it's so frickin' expensive to launch your payload up there, and so no one's building anything. So we need them to drive the cost down for all of these things. But in order to drive the cost down, we need new launchers that need funding, and in order to get that funding, you need to see that there's payload, but you can't get the payload because you go around and around and around. So it's this iterative cycle, but it's not been proven yet. So yeah, we have Rocket Labs, yeah, we have Vector, and we have Virgin Galactic, but no one has actually truly proven a successful business model here, other than scaling up to these ginormous things like SpaceX and Blue Origin have done. It's not to say it won't work. It's just to say that it's unproven, and I think that's part of where some of the fear is. But that's also the high upside from the investing side, is that the higher the risk, the higher the potential reward. So it all depends on what the investors are willing to take from a risk standpoint. Some will take more than others. But I think you look at like Jurvetson, Draper, whatever, I forget the name of their whole company.
I know, I keep thinking it's Price.
Draper
'cause-
Fisher George.
Yeah,
Thank you.
DFJ.
Yeah, there
Because
you go.
Yeah.
Mad Men gets stuck in my head.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, they seem to take a pretty large risk early on, and it seems like it's paid off fairly well for them. So I think you'll see other VCs kind of going down that same road. But I can totally see where they'd only want to invest in one because it is a large chunk of money, and so they kind of want to choose. They're not. I think they're just kind of dipping the toes in. They're not jumping in full yet. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, good points. That's actually part of CubeCat's planning. Is we're doing CubeSats because even without us, there is this developing market, and also it allows us to get by with only 5 to 6 mil development funding as opposed to the 10, 20, 30 mil that these larger companies need.
Yeah, I mean, and that's going to be part of the key, is not just the development funding, but also keeping the cost of the recurring flights as low as possible. That's what's going to open up this market. Those flight costs have to come down even further than what we're seeing with Rocket Labs and Vector and Virgin. They have to continue to come down to see this market open up. I don't know what that that magic number is, but it's not the $5 million or $3 million per launch price tag. It's lower than that. I don't know how much lower, but that's not it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of university like projects are surprised when they see a CubeSat, even just like a 1-unit CubeSat kit for like $15,000 or something like that, and then come to find out that to launch it would be over $1 million to have it as a hosted payload or something like that. So I think that a lot of people expect it to be almost the same price. If that could be the cost of your CubeSat, whatever size and how complex it might be, it costs the same amount to launch it. It shouldn't be 10 times the cost to launch the satellite than it is to build it. But one other thing that I would really like to see, and is a cool trend, is even though there's a lot of competition between a lot of these startups, there is also kind of a spirit of camaraderie in a sense, and there have been a few mergers of different companies. And just like Ben said, it's inevitable that not all of these companies are going to succeed. And I think that those that aren't able to succeed will join forces and create more super companies. I mean, even Vector Space Systems started off as a different company and absorbed Garvey Space Systems and created Vector, and that's awesome. So they have almost a little bit of a leg up than either company did alone by merging together. So that I hope that all these different ideas will not just go by the wayside and be forgotten about, but will join forces and actually make something happen. That's just my ideal world.
One launch provider to rule them all.
No, but I mean, like orbital ATK. I mean, that's also
And Orbital Sciences and ATK, that was an awesome merger.
right, an awesome merger. And it's not like either company was doing anything necessarily bad or not as good on their own, but together they were better.
Oh, we're watching the birth of a new industry here. Even though we've been in space for a while, this is truly the first time that everything is changing, and I don't think we actually know what it's changing into just yet. But it's really fun to watch because there's some amazing things happening. And we're watching these launch costs get lower. We're watching the payloads get larger. We're watching our capabilities from a launcher standpoint begin to flourish and seeing some competition there for the first time in decades. And so there's just incredible, amazing things happening that very few people actually know about or can actually see. And what that's going to do to the industry / all of humanity will be absolutely incredible over the next 10 to 20 years.
Our entire society as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the birth of the iPhone, the original iPhone, right? We're coming up on, 10 years for the iPhone?
Yeah.
And you go back and watch the original iPhone presentation, and everyone's oohing and awing over the fact that you can swipe to scroll, right? But, I mean, just things that we take for granted today, just like, of course there's a rubber band effect. Of course you can do all these things. I mean, that was revolutionary 10 years ago. That's the point we're at in space right now. And the trick is going to be the people with the checkbooks necessary to make all of this happen, how many of them have the vision to see that through, and how many of them have the correct vision, because not all of the visions will be winners. That's just the nature of the beast. Across the board, by the way, right? I mean, that's just how all investing is. So how many people will have that vision, and then how many people will succeed? That's really what the key here is going to be.
Smasher in the chat room says hashtag 6 months out.
No, it's not 6 months. It is longer than 6 months. It's actually a lot like the iPhone again, right? The iPhone came out, and there were lines, and it was a game changer. And that's what we're starting to see with some of these low-cost launch providers. But it took a little while. It really took a little while for it to really gain traction. And you're going to see the same thing here in space. And I think those timelines will be about 3x what you see in technology. So instead of 1 to 2 years, it's going to take 3 to 6 to 9 years for that same kind of traction. But once it grabs hold, watch out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want, I can drop a little thing on that nuclear thermal that you had. Partially responsible. So I mentioned CubeCab is looking to do a whole bunch of launches to fund reusable launch. That's not the only thing on our agenda. Possibly, once we have high reliability and trust from you're doing a whole bunch of launches and they don't blow up, that sets the political credibility to potentially, and I'm not saying we're committing to this, I'm not saying we're actively thinking about this, but potentially nuclear thermal launch to orbit. And I'm sure you know what that would do to launch costs.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds neat, but the politics of getting anything nuclear started in today's society, it's
exactly.
Frankly, it is going to be a better technology across the board. It always is, but everyone is scared of it. Correctly or incorrectly, I say everyone. That's too broad of a stroke, but a mass majority of very vocal people are scared of it, and so I just don't see a political way through that. It's not a technological issue; it's a political one.
Yep, I agree, and that's one of the things CubeCab may be attempting is to set up a politically acceptable way to do it. By establishing that, hey, we have a whole bunch of launches every year. We have high reliability. Our stuff doesn't blow up. And even if it did blow up, it would blow up over the Atlantic in small enough pieces that nobody cares.
Yeah, people will care. Yeah, I'm just being. I mean, I hate to be Debbie Downer on that one. I think it's a great idea, but no one is going. You're going to hit some extreme political backlash on anything that has radiation.
No kidding.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be. I think the politics of that are much harder than anyone has ever worked on. NASA ran out of what was the exact element they used?
Plutonium-238?
Sure. They ran out. They couldn't get more. They couldn't restart production for spacecraft.
That was just a guess.
Sure.
I thought it was unobtainium, so it's fine.
It's not 230. It's not. Is it 238?
238.
Yeah, all right.
Yes.
So they ran out. They couldn't even restart production. This is our own government that couldn't get this production restarted until fairly recently in extremely low yields now, and that's just for things that are going to Mars. I wish you luck. I think it's a noble cause. I don't see how the politics will allow for it.
Yeah, that's why I say it's just one option we are looking at. There's a high probability we will settle for just doing reusable and a bunch of other more politically acceptable technologies. This would be like our own moonshot.
I mean, it's not wrong from a technical standpoint, from a pure engineering and technical standpoint.
Yeah.
All right, I got a bag to pack.
All right.
Yeah.
We need to wrap up the show. Thank you so much for coming on. It was a great interview. It was a lot of fun. Thank you, everyone, for watching live. We'll see you next week with our SLS roundtable. By the way, that was just an idea. You don't have to Skype in at 4 in the morning.
Probably will.
Your travels are insane. So yeah,
It's not even just the travels. It's like I have a meeting. I have 2 papers.
Yeah,
I can't sleep for the next
How
week and
about
a
this?
half.
We will leave the option open for you, but we will not expect you to be there. How's
right.
that? Because
That's cool.
that's crazy. But yeah, thank you everyone so much
Thanks,
for watching.
Adrian.
Adrian, we actually cannot hang up the call on this side, but we're gonna go. So feel free to hang up. And everyone, have a great day.
Thank you.
Great show, everybody.